The story continues with the top elite squad from both nations withdrawing from the battle. The only people left are those deemed to be second class, exactly like those diamond players with the ego of a pro player. Luckily for the second-class men with their skills not up to par, they still get allowed to enjoy some rice cake attacks, as the girls still need to extract seeds. However, for the girls, they expected a chance to experience the Prince Behemoth, but they came a day late, so all they receive is the reward of disappointment. Meanwhile, Herring finally wakes up inside the Garimbi elite caravan, only to find the King Simp staring him down. You might feel bad for Karim since bro lost another duel against his one true love, but then she left him on the floor just so she could go simp for Herring. Regardless of Karim's unending stare, Herring decides to pretend to sleep since he can't handle the awkwardness. Luckily for our boy though, he woke up near the end of the journey, as the caravan is almost all the way back at home headquarters. As the first elite squad returning home after the invasion of the Crimson Fox territory, Karim is forced to complete an after-action report to detail what occurred. Eventually, the commander of the Garimbi elite learns of the fact that Herring has dominated another elite Crimson Fox, whom happens to be a famed sniper of the 1000 Steps. In just a couple days, Herring has already destroyed the rice cakes of two of the most powerful within the Crimson Foxes, and he did so all on his own. Not only that, but both foxes wanted the rice cake explosion right there and then, instead of the usual duel at Puzzle. Now eager to learn more, our sussy commander decides to ask for excruciating detail on what happened, but Karim tells him to ask Herring himself, since that ain't his business. And so the commander snaps back to reality, thus he asks for the results of the mission, as the entire point of the invasion was to steal some flowers. Originally, the mission was going to be a failure as they mostly wanted high-quality blue columbines, but the commander discovers that Herring was also the one that was able to retrieve the highest quality of them all. Not only was Herring able to send his rocket to help Chua experience another world, but he also single-handedly carried the mission for the entire nation of men. The quality of the blue columbine is so insane that you can see it literally glow from over a mile away, as if it's some kind of blinking runway. Nevertheless, the head analyst of the Wolves revealed to the commander that this Columbine is literally the greatest of all, but my GOAT is Team Solamid. Anyways, on the other end of the spectrum is the Elite 1000 Steps squad, also returning back to home headquarters. This time, the girls reveal to their Black Thorn that Chua actually completed the sussy with Prince Behemoth, much to the surprise of everyone. Chua was literally the one least enthralled about a Prince Behemoth, so it's basically like your feminist friend being the first one to jump on to get their rice cake destroyed. With the revelation that Chu lost to a noob like the Prince Behemoth, the Black Thorn member could not believe her ears, so she kept on repeating her questions. Eventually, she stopped pestering Mira, so she asked for Ara to come in instead, but her orders are coupled with her seemingly going crazy with a hysterical laugh. Nevertheless, Ara reports to their Black Thorn leader as requested, only to be interrogated with the same questions. After some time, she finally started to believe Ara, so she changed the subject to whether or not she was able to win against the King Simp again. Of course, she says since Ara is literally the strongest on the planet, and she would never lose to a tier 3 sub of hers. Suddenly, the turntables turn, as the lady notifies Ara that Herring has confirmed the date of the rice cake duel at Puzzle, where it will take place exactly 3 days from now. As such, she orders Ara to make sure she's thoroughly prepared, since Prince Behemoth might have something up his sleeve, since he's been undefeated ever since he got discovered. Nonetheless, Ara confirms to her superior that she will be super ready for that day, and so she leaves the room only for Ara to get caught smiling for the first time. Fast forward to later in the afternoon, we find that Chua is undergoing an exam as her rice cake was able to succeed in its mission. Yeah, so this is exactly what you think it is, and they basically used it on Chua during the exam. Now that's something pretty weird, but then again, we are in very cultured territory. Regardless, as the exam finishes, Chua had to stick some kind of contraption within the rice cake, just so they could collect some of Herring's banana tree seed samples. And as Chua suits back up, the lady doing the exam starts going on a rant about how, due to her unfortunate genes, she will probably never get to experience a rice cake smashing in her life. Luckily for her, Chua decides to ask her if she wants to be recommended to the upcoming Gomage, since she might be able to pull some strings. With the shocking revelation that Chua would actually do something so considerate, the lady gets overjoyed as she's never thought the day would come. As such, she sends Chua her best wishes, hoping that she does get the chance to get pregnant, just like Youngji. With the unexpected reveal that Youngji is actually confirmed to have successfully completed her life mission, Chua is left stunned, unable to fathom that Herring C is super effective. Now speak of the devil, Herring finds himself back in his room resting, busy dreaming about Ara and the chance to destroy the strongest rice cake in just a few days. As he continually dreams about her, he accidentally starts sleep talking, but this time only sitting there, watching him the entire time. Wong then smiles, happy to hear that other people also get called having a funny-looking face, so he starts talking to Herring in his sleep. Upon hearing Wong talk, Herring wakes up from his dreams, absolutely petrified to see Wong since Herring has a massive morning banana tree up due to his dreams. But hipster Wong doesn't even notice, as he's too preoccupied talking about how girls tell him his face looks funny. However, he reveals to Herring that people from the royal palace are here to see him. He then threatens Herring to make sure he never goes after Mira, as he calls dibs on her rice cake. But Herring can't really help it if an entire nation of girls are desperate to have him, so he asks what happens if Mira is the one that hands her collar over to him. And with a hypothetical question, Wong answers by claiming that he will probably destroy him if she does. Nevertheless, with his own roommate now aware of how strong Herring is, our boy heads out, ready to meet some higher-ups from the palace. However, as he walks out of his room, the entire place goes quiet and all eyes start to drift towards him. While not looking, Herring's ultra instincts activates as he instantly dodges a surprise attack from one of the second-class members. And like a true Sigma male, Herring just keeps walking on as if nothing even happened, leaving the rest dismayed that Herring is actually some kind of super S-rank member. Unfortunately for the guy who threw the knife, the black Surang saw everything, so he warned him to never attempt anything like that again or face utter destruction. It then turns out that most of the second-class members are super jealous of Herring as he's now evolved into Mr. Steal Your Girl, even though he doesn't even try. Afterwards, Herring finds himself in a room with his commander and two Imperial Palace intelligence officers. One of the members happens to be Sama's son, who looks like some kind of lizard man. The other looks like some kind of Viking turned into medieval spy named Gangpo Hammon. They then disclose to Herring that the two have been apparently stalking him for a long time now, but only recently has he been noteworthy. But Sun claims that the only reason they were tasked to spy on him is because he was raised by the legendary manhwa. And now the time has come for the two to cheer him on at Puzzle, as the wolves have decided the time Herring will be battling Ara. In exactly 3 days, Herring must get ready, and these two officers will be the ones accompanying him on his way to Puzzle. Hammon also tells Herring that even the King of the Wolves is super interested in what happens to him at Puzzle, so he asks Herring to not let the wolves down. Now imagine being Karim right now as everyone in the entire world is talking about Ara's rice cake, meeting his banana plantation in 3 days. If you think about it, the only thing that could get worse for Karim is if he had to sit there and watch Ara meet Prince Behemoth for the first time. Regardless, back at the elite Crimson Fox's headquarters, the blondie has picked out a dress for Ara to wear for the upcoming battle at Puzzle. Ara then tries it on, where she then finds herself wanting to keep twirling like a ballerina. But the blondie is super great with things like these, so she reminds Ara to always pump her twin dragons out, as that's one of the main points of the dress. It was at this moment that the rest of the girls started scrubbing their eyes, unable to believe that they are actually witnessing Ara wearing something other than combat clothes. From always destroying every man she encounters, and now she's trying to look pretty like a princess, since she knows she's up against Prince Behemoth next. Meanwhile, back at the Black Wolves Castle, everyone is still fixated on the one Columbine that Herring was able to bring back. But it turns out that these guys are actually up to no good as they start developing potions from the Columbine, so now they actually have enough for a single trial run. And so the two mysterious men in white made their way to the opposite end of the castle, where it's revealed that they have stationary guards for a special place. We then discover that inside the special place is actually the previous strongest person on the planet, the old rank 1 in all the Crimson Fox's elite, captured in a dark corner.